I wanted to quickly go through our introductions here and get everyone introduced. Let's start over on the left there with Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris Lemma.
That
was great, you guys. What?
Are we skipping Jason?
Yes, we're skipping me. I'm Jason Tucker. How you doing?
In that case, I'm John Brown.
I'm Lucy Beer. Or you can just read my lower third.
Read my lower third.
That's right.
I have a lower third now too, and I'm Say. Read. Hi.
How did you skip 3 other people?
We're not all on the stage.
What do you mean? I'm next to Lucy. Oh no, wait! Look, there's Suzette. Suzette's in the middle somehow. Where did
She popped in a second ago.
Introduce yourself, Suzette.
So wait, who left? I thought we could only have 9.
You can have 10, I think.
Yeah,
Lucy
he lied.
was right.
Suzette, we can't hear you.
Oh, okay, because I wasn't talking yet.
Oh, that again.
Oh, how do you get your name on there? That's cool.
You missed the tutorial session. Now you gotta go back and
We're actually live now.
Yeah, we are live.
What you should worry about much more is getting a light that is not behind your head, but in front of it.
Yeah, that'll be for next time maybe.
That's all right.
You
No
look
problem,
like an
Suzette.
interrogator, like I'm back in a Russian gulag being questioned.
It looks like he wants to stay anonymous while she says anything.
Hey, Stephen, introduce yourself.
So I guess I'm up. I'm Stephen P. Kane, and I'm in a brownout in Irvine, as you can see. There's no lights. It's been great. I hope you guys enjoyed the donuts. I really enjoyed the Panther.
Wait, are you really in a brownout? What is that? What?
No, I just don't have a freaking light.
Oh, all right. I'm so confused, with the sarcasm.
Perfect.
Who's that other guy?
Oh, is it me?
I've never seen him.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Wait, is that really him, or is he impersonating Steve?
Exactly.
I think he's impersonating Jeff.
I think it's Jeff impersonating Steve.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Zengit.
Zing it! Zing it!
Nice.
Zing it! Zing it!
So I brought everybody here together, and I wanted to see what you guys are been up to, and talk about some of the things that you have going on, and what type of work you've been doing. Anybody?
Who starts?
It doesn't matter. What are you guys working on?
I can tell you that Woo Themes announced today that by the end of next week, I think, they're changing their licensing model for all the extensions for WooCommerce, so that literally instead of it being you buy the extension once, you can use it on as many sites as you want. It will soon be licensed where each extension is licensed for the number of sites that you plan to use it on. So you'll buy a single license or a 5-pack. But if you buy the extensions before the end of the week, you're grandfathered in with the unlimited kind of developer version. So I spent most of my morning buying up every extension I thought I might ever use.
Very nice.
Oh, that's a trip. So that's a new trend that's been going on lately with people, these companies that are trying to get people to spend as much money as possible up front, and then hopefully you'll save later on with that.
It works for me.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like their pricing. I don't know quite how that single licensing ever really works in a GPL world, but since it's kind of voluntary adherence to it, but see how it goes. I thought about buying up a bunch of plugins because I've never really worked with WooCommerce until literally yesterday. But I'm not going to pre-buy a bunch of stuff.
Dude, what the hell? Did anyone else's computer just totally turn off?
No.
I thought you were doing a costume change.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's a Long Beach thing.
She moved. The rolling brownout.
I was totally engaged by what John was saying until someone decided to interrupt us.
Go ahead, John.
I know, we were all rolling along on WordPress-related stuff, and now we're back on Say.
Does that surprise you?
Can I see?
So it's interesting how that model works with this. I had a hard time with like WP Infinite WP is doing the same type of thing where they were trying to.
Yeah, we just got that actually. I just set it up and I have some of my sites on there already, and we got all the extensions.
Well, that's a better topic to talk about than WooCommerce. So how's Infinite WP working for you? Because I
It
totally
seems
want
to
to
be
switch to
working
that for
fine.
Managed WP.
Yeah, we're switching from Managed WP. It just looks like the interface isn't as nice as Managed WP, but it has a lot of the same features.
I hate Managed WP's interface.
Yeah, it's a little bit similar.
Yeah, I heard somewhere that it actually shares a bunch of code base, like Infinite WP, whether with permission or just because it's GPL, ripped out a whole bunch of the worker plugin code and reused it.
Yeah, it's very similar features.
Have you used the remote backup to Amazon S3 and stuff like that?
I haven't used that yet. I just got everything set up, and I'm going to try the backups because I'm not really happy with Backup Buddy.
Yeah, I never liked Backup Buddy either.
Yeah, it's unreliable.
But that's the key feature for me. I'd switch to Infinite WP if I knew that S3 backups would work nice and reliably. I got to get that set up this week.
Yeah, the scheduled backup sounds like a pretty cool idea, and also being able to to migrate a site from one to another seems like a pretty good setup as well.
Yeah, I know they mentioned it at WordCamp LA, and they actually recommended not putting it on a server, but since we have so many people accessing it, I did put it on the server, but I limit it to only a certain IP address. And I think that should be okay.
One of the
What's
questions.
that IP address so I can hack your account?
Look, Brandon's here. Brandon, when did you show up? 1, 2, 3.
I think it's just a picture of Brandon.
8, 9, 10.
Oh!
No, there's so many of us now. 1, 2. Who left? Besides me. I mean.
No,
I didn't mean to
you can
leave.
have 10 people.
Oh.
The other thing that I was noticing on Infinite WP is the whole code snippets thing, which I'm not quite sure how someone would use that or how they would go about using that. Have you guys?
Yeah,
seen any of
that looks really interesting. That's something I want to dig into.
It lets you run PHP. Lets you run PHP code straight from their interface there onto the remote site, and you can save snippets and stuff and have it execute those. So I guess you could maybe use that to reset passwords or hack your own website or whatever, because at that point you're able to access the site remotely and be able to access it from the back end with it already being authenticated and stuff.
Well, Jason, you'd asked a question earlier about what we're doing today, and one of the things that I'm doing today is related to one of the things I was doing at midnight when Chris Lima was still online. He was I was reading his Building and Managing Virtual Teams ebook. I don't know if anybody else has had the time yet to see it.
I've been looking at it, thinking about it.
Yeah, well, the two things that I've been doing today as a result of that is I'm thinking about what I own. Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate that. And what I'm accountable for. And, so, it's really kind of helped. But the delivery, what are you delivering today? And outside of this, really cool half hour at the water cooler, it's made me think about what am I delivering today. So, thank you. And I recommend that book to everybody.
Let's hear it for Chris Lima, right here.
That's great.
And also the Dun Dun series. I think you've revolutionized all of us a little bit, and it hurt just only a little bit.
Just a little.
I've been hearing. I'm
Dun
so
Dun.
bummed I missed WordCamp LA because I've been hearing about this Dun Dun thing from everybody, and I can't find a video to watch it.
Oh,
WordPress TV, maybe we'll have it soon. It was a great presentation, and
Hey,
we've been having a meeting every morning now because of it.
Let's talk about WordPress TV, Brandon.
Yeah, because I'm sure that it'll be up on WordPress TV sometime between the next week and 12 years.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
If at all.
Give or take.
So wait. We get to talk about that stuff here. So what is up with that? What is up
plus or
with
minus
WordPress?
10 years.
But why? Because then it's all out of date, right? We realize this, yes?
Right.
Like they go out of date after you save them, the next hour there's 12 more plugins that eliminate everything that you just said. So we should probably who do we need to send cupcakes to in order to make that happen?
It depends on who's speaking. If it's it's already out of date before you say it.
Oh.
Well, she does own a bookstore. She does own a bookstore, so it makes sense.
I own a bookstore.
Got the sound effect.
I own a bookstore for like a month and a half more, I think. Just you heard it here first, folks.
Ooh.
Oh no.
So you renaming it then to closed or what?
No, it'll still be named open. It'll just be closed because I like to be dichotomistic.
Ooh, clear-cut
That's a
dichotomies.
big word.
They're important.
Early in the morning.
Hey, Chris, did you, in terms of crowdsourcing any, like when you publish a book like that, you did a great job of introing it and saying, hey, this is going to be outdated, almost immediately in some sections because things are moving fast. And so, you're getting feedback from readers. I was on my iPad last night reading this thing, and you can make notes, and you can do, you can take paragraphs and post them out to your social networks, which is really cool. But how about communicating back to the author and going, hey, there was a typo on page 10 that, I just want to send you so you could fix it quick.
Yeah, I have a special mailbox that you can send typos to, and it's I don't give a rat's ass at gmail.com.
Is that all caps?
That goes straight into the junk mail, right?
I was still hoping that Chris had invented a mailbox that corrected typos automatically, but that's even better.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a different question. Can I insert typos?
Yeah. So here's
You
the
can
thing,
insert
right?
whatever you want.
Your iPad, buddy.
So Stephen, the truth was this, right? I've been talking about virtual teams and remote management and team dynamics and high performance organizations literally for like 8 years. But it was a bet with one of the CEOs I was coaching, which one of us could get an ebook out first.
Ooh, nice.
I was coaching him on how to do it, and he's like, yeah, talk, but you haven't done it. And so that was in January of 2011.
Wait. Sorry, you have to pause. Whoever's typing needs to either stop typing or type softer, because what the hell?
Oh, it's probably me. Sorry about that.
You're like really...
Then type.
You're angry typer. She's like,
This is The Office.
For this email.
Are we on The Office?
So
Yeah.
basically, that was in January of 2011. So I moved very quickly to write it all down and publish in February of 2011. Just to let you know, my friend CEO, who I was coaching, still hasn't published. So I won.
Yay, good job.
But yeah, that's why there's a few.
Is that because you did less collaboration, Chris, or?
You want to compete, huh? Well, then bye-bye.
That's because he didn't worry about typos. That's why.
That's
pretty much it. Yeah.
Typos add, 3
I don't
months
give
to
a
look
rat's
for them.
ass.
So how about...
Blue themes for a second?
Yeah, let's go back to Woo Themes. What's up?
John, you were talking about the pricing on Woo Themes. Actually, Chris brought it up. So
Woo.
I pay a developer license for Woo Themes, and I reuse them on a lot of the sites that we build. Is that going to change? Because I paid my $200, whatever, and then I pay $20 a month. Is that...
Nope.
Okay.
That's not changing. So it's just... I think what they're trying to do is they've had a massive success not only with the underlying plugin, but with the extensions. But in the midst of that, I think they're seeing the use, the download rates, and everything else way higher than the monetization, right? And so this is a way for them to say, look, if you are going to use it, 30 times, they're not going to raise the price 30x, but they're going to move it up the bar a little. They'll get a little more money. They'll be able to do a little more support, and obviously they're really working at trying to bring on additional developers, not on staff, but literally other folks to develop WooCommerce extensions. So I know I've been working on one for a set of weeks now, and they've been very good about trying to get support and walk me through what I need to understand about their world, and so it makes sense that they want to maximize revenue. For me, for themselves, for everybody else.
I find this whole idea of this whole building this, like monetizing, I think that goes right into that whole GPL thing that was being discussed. I still don't think that's resolved, the all this kind of selling on top of something that's free thing. I think that's still shifting radically, in my opinion.
Well, I think there's lots of economic models that work on that, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with the entire plethora of profitable models being placed upon GPL. A lot of them are just fine. It's the issue of as soon as you say this extension that I'm going to give you can only be used on one site, you're violating the distribution agreement of GPL that once you have it, you can do whatever you want with it.
So, so my question is this. I don't mind paying my developer license for Woo and for StudioPress. We have both of those. We reuse those themes for several sites. I was also looking, Elegant Themes offers the same pricing model. What other companies are offering that? Because I actually like that.
Do you have a list of questions that you're reading from?
No, and it's funny. I don't have a Woo developer package because it just doesn't price out for me. It's so rare that I actually use a Woo theme that everything they have looks too expensive to me. Where I go, well, I want to pay $200 to start up at a subscription that I'm then on the hook for $25 a month for, when I'm going to use one Woo theme a month, if that. That would never price out for me. That's just personal, right?
The way that's true. The way I look at it is this. I mean, we use it on one site; it pays for itself. I can either code it myself, or pay for Woo once, and that's already paid for itself. Same with Studio.
But with StudioPress, there's no ongoing monthly cost.
That's
right?
true.
StudioPress was a one-time fee, and you're in the club. With Woo, they were one of the first ones to say, okay, you're going to pay an upfront fee, and then we're going to get, $20 or $25 a month from you. And I think that makes sense because you're getting ongoing support. Like, there's a reason for that model. You get, endless access to their support forums. But I still never liked subscriptions.
Who's doing the heavy breathing on the microphone?
It's Steven. Totally Steven, because he's the one with the microphone in his face.
I'm not breathing heavy, but I can.
So Steve, I'd say I have the lifetime at StudioPress. I have the developer one at Woo Themes. I do own the one at Elegant Themes.
Yeah.
Me too.
I also have the one at iThemes.
The developer suite.
Developer suite for those
I have
guys.
that.
I have a question about those, real quick. So if you deploy that for a client, say you have your subscription, whatever, you deploy that for a client, does your client have to continue to pay, or is that just a one-off done over there, and then you just go on with your life?
I've always interpreted it as no, because
they don't have to pay.
So you buy the thing, and then you can deploy it as much as you want, wherever you want.
What the client would be paying for if they wanted to would be support forum access, right? That's ultimately what you're paying for here. And so I just had a client ask me this yesterday. I'm going to use a Woo theme on their site because it's going to be WooCommerce. And they asked, well, do I get access to Woo theme support with that? I said, well, not under my license. You'd have to buy your own support license. It's only $70 for one theme on Woo Themes, but you'd have to buy that because I can share the theme with you technically under GPL. You're my client. I can install on your site, but I can't share support with you. And so I'm totally fine having clients buy licensing to support one by one like that.
Yeah.
And I guess it's the same thing with the WooCommerce extensions, but they haven't really said if they're going to do anything in code to restrict use on multiple sites.
No, they're not. They're not going to.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not going to be restrictive. It's just going to be support based and everything else. So they're not going to go crazy on it, but they are going to adjust their pricing on it.
Are they changing their pricing downward, where since you're only buying a plugin to use on one site, it's going to be cheaper than it was before when you had unlimited use of it? Or is it the same price?
Yeah, I haven't heard. They haven't mentioned that, but it's the way I bought types and views. So that's another one, Steve, that I bought early on. And I try and buy most of them early on because they do the whole. If you bought types and views before they went 1.0, it was lifetime and developer, and then all of a sudden when they went 1.0, it was suddenly a yearly license, and you had to repay each time.
Gotcha.
I did that for Catalyst theme as well.
What was that one?
The Catalyst theme.
Catalyst.
Do you guys then make child themes to modify them, or modify the original theme and let them do the upgrades themselves, or are these managed clients?
I do child themes off of everything.
Yeah.
If it's a child theme, we're just cloning it. Yeah.
And whether it's a managed client or not doesn't have any effect on that whatsoever.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well, that's the answer to that.
Well, that's the beauty of child themes is that as long as the base or the parent theme is being updated, normally, then the child theme benefits from it.
Does the client get to update their Woo themes if you're not with them anymore? Once they have their theme, they can continue to update that theme?
Yep.
As long as your license stays active, they can.
Oh,
Because you
what if
put
your
that
license
license key in.
Oh, it's under your license though, still.
Right.
So I actually ran into a problem last week with a theme called Aveda from Theme Forest. So I made a child theme.
I've used that
A
theme.
problem on a Theme Forest theme? Never.
But the problem with
Oh
this
boy, here we go.
is you can't make a child theme because it's got specific admin functions that you have to include in the theme forest.
I have to see.
What's that? So
Is
that
there a mouse?
is a
that
problem for the upgrade path.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a problem. But we were talking about Woo themes. I mean, Theme Forest isn't quite the same, right? You don't get updates for that when you do that anyway.
Right.
Well, it
Just-
depends
you
on the
buy
theme
code
author.
for that and you're done.
But the specific question that I was addressing was child themes. You want to be careful on a Theme Forest theme, apparently, from what John Brown is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's kind of the jungle, right? Like, every author does his own thing, and some would
played.
pass theme check and be
it's not a
awesome, and
jungle,
some are
it's a
just...
forest. It's a forest. Not a jungle, but whatever.
I'm just seeing trees. What are you saying?
I can't see anything.
But one of the things I see that might be a little bit of a difficulty is what we're just talking about the whole idea of licensing and paying for that license every year or however it works for that particular theme setup. What happens when you no longer want to pay for that, or you just switched from using one to another, and now it's not a lifetime thing, and you're still on the hook for it? Does that mean you should be on the hook for it and continue to pay for it, or should you just say, I don't use that anymore, so if you want to pay for it, you the client should go and pay for it?
That's a great question, and this came up recently because the way Woo works is it's $200 a year and then $20 a month. So our $200 a year subscription ran out. We had to re-up that, but in that little window, we had some themes running, on sites. Are those still good?
Were they? Did they work?
They work just fine, and we only
They work just fine, but
Well,
if
they
there's an
work, but they
update,
may not
Won't get
update.
the updates.
that's right.
Well, I mean, but that seems, it's not like if you were to build a custom theme that your updates forever would be included either. Like, you're not going to continue to update that theme every year for them for free. So
Oh
it
wait,
makes
let
sense.
me write that down.
Wait,
Well, but say that's where, in theory, if you do a custom theme as a child, I know a lot of us in here are Genesis developers, right? Then the parent gets updated forever, and that's where the update happens, is in the parent, not the child.
But the parent gets updated forever under the Woo Themes developer license. So if you don't have the Woo Themes developer license, then it's not getting updated anymore, right?
as long as you keep paying for it. That's the way I'm interpreting it.
Right,
Is
but
that correct?
as long as the developer keeps paying for it, not the client. So there's not that issue of separation. Like if you don't pay for yours anymore, like you're saying, what happens to them?
So I know, but what my question comes back to: are you a smarter developer by going through something that has a one-time payment at the beginning, and then you're just paying per month, or are you a smarter developer by going the Woo Themes route, where you're on the hook for $200 plus 2
I don't
times
think-
12?
Whoever's receiving the monthly payment is the smarter one, not the one paying.
Right, Lucy. That's right. Well, it sounds like with the $200 a year kind of a license, you're just not able to retire. You're going to have to keep paying for that license until such time as all of your clients no longer want to have updates.
I
Well,
think
hold on a
that
second.
sucks.
Steve-
$200 a year plus $20 a month. That sucks.
wait, Steve, are you sure you paid $200 every year?
I just got billed for another, or it cut me off for the year, and said that my support was no longer valid, even though I was paying $20 a month. Do I need to call
That's-
somebody at Woo?
I would talk to them because that's not normal. I paid $200, or it used to be a little less earlier, years ago, and I never have paid that one-time fee ever again.
Okay, I'm gonna call my guy.
Yeah.
It's not a
I
one-time
gotta
fee
call
for
a guy.
free.
You know.
Can somebody tell me who my guy is?
Mr. Woo.
Yeah.
Mr. Woo.
A lot of those, I mean, at the end of the day, the question is really how much you're bringing in, right? So if you're bringing in a lot of jobs, or you're doing a lot of jobs, or you're doing a few jobs that are very, very expensive, and this is saving you, mad money, it's worth spending the money. It's a no-brainer.
I find it interesting though that kind of the ethical idea. If you're really basically reselling this theme that you're making minor adjustments to, and then you're really marking it up to as if you bought a custom theme, like, is that what's happening? Is that we're still charging custom theme rates for?
Only if you're suggesting to your customer that the real work you're doing is design work. But if you're suggesting that you're doing something different, so for example, if I have a real estate client and I'm walking them through how to do stuff with real estate, most of the time, most of the work I'm doing has very little to do with WordPress.
Yeah, and I got to say, I mean, this would open up a conversation that would be much longer than this call, but I'm bringing solutions to the table for my clients. That's what they're saying.
I love the way you said that.
I mean, that's it.
Yep.
That's
it's a solution, and there's a value to the solution. But say, just to be clear, there are times where I will literally send a client to Woo Themes, right, and say, go look at all of them, pick the one you like, we'll start from there, pick the one that's closest to what you're imagining, and they're like, this is fantastic, all I want to do is change 2 or 3 things. It doesn't change the nature of the work I have to do, because most of my work has very little to do with coding.
Because you're doing content development and information structure and all that, actual...
Mostly I'm babysitting that.
And you know what? Lucy made a comment...
Mostly you're what?
Babysitting.
Lucy made a comment that this is expensive. I don't view any of these fees as expensive. Compared
I didn't say it was expensive. I just think it sucks.
Or yeah, it does. but I hear this in the meetup a lot, that a lot of these things are steep. I don't see them as steep compared to what we charge. I mean, this is
for a user. It's steep. For a user that has that one website and it's their cat's website, and they want to have pretty kittens all over the website or whatever, and they want to make their site updated and such. $200, that's a lot of money for that.
They can go with the GeoCitizer.
It's kind of funny that we always seem to focus on the cost of a theme and what we're shelling out for these kinds of things, and the real cost to me as a business person is the learning curve on these things. I haven't used WooTheme before, but I dabbled in some of the other frameworks, and I'm not as accomplished as some of the other people on the panel here today. But I've been around websites for a while, and there's a learning curve to these things, and there's a lot of effort and time that goes into learning any of them to really make them functional for you. So, to me, that's always a much greater cost.
That's a great point. I haven't shown a theme like Woo or anything else to a single first-time WordPress client who isn't like, I don't understand. I bought it and it looked like this, and I installed it and it's nothing at all like this.
That's totally
every single theme in existence.
That's a whole chunk of my presentation on what's in a theme.
Yeah.
Is setting up the folks and explaining the difference between what the theme looks like in demo and what the theme looks like when you install it, and preparing them for that in between. That's the whole chunk of everything.
No, don't say it's the whole talk, because there was a whole big cupcake right in the middle of it.
I forget which theme it was we downloaded recently, but it actually came with a whole bunch of sample content that set up the site for you.
Yep.
Jeez.
Which was
sometimes
cool.
ThemeForest does that.
Yeah, okay.
Genesis does that too, where they have an XML file of their content.
Yep.
And Steve, to answer your question, I actually think Woo's documentation is very good. All of their themes are pretty well documented on how to set things up. I'm a shooter for Woo, where I kind of play.
Yeah, but their theme control panel is a bit unwieldy and.
Agreed.
They're so bloated. They're exactly. I mean, I talked about that in my thing too, but they're just the epitome of the plugin. 1 minute.
1 minute.
Oh no.
Well, I love you all. Mwah. Cupcakes for everybody.
All right, wait, quick. Who's going to WordCamp Las Vegas?
Chris, I got a quick question
I'm
for you.
not going. I'm so sad.
Chris,
I'm going.
I'm not going.
How to adjust permalinks?
I'm talking.
And Chris is out of here.
We lost Chris. How sad is that?
Almost made it to the end.
Almost.
Oh, tragedy. And I almost made it in the beginning. How exciting.
So we'll be doing this hangout every Monday morning at 11 o'clock. And we're only going to do it for half an hour Pacific. And we're only going to be doing it for half an hour. And when the half an hour's up, that's it.
I want to talk about topics for next week. I really want to talk about the community summit, like so badly. I want to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. I do. Oh no.
Thanks, you guys.
Hey, Jason, thanks for putting it together.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Yep.
Bye.
Have a great day, everybody. See you tonight.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Aloha.
We're out. Maybe not.